Well, I just thought I was getting older. That was my reasoning for losing all the distance which I thought I'd lost. Now, since moving into the new studio, I have found out that I have lost a certain amount of yards, and off the tee this is, and was it because I'm not swinging as fast? Was it because of the fact that as yet I'm getting older and I might have lost a bit of range of motion? I don't know. So it's time to do an experiment, and that experiment involves grabbing a driver. So I've just grabbed a G425 driver, set at 9 degrees, and let's go bash it a few times, because we're going to be testing one specific very important thing, and it wasn't until I realised this that I really found out where these 20 yards had gone. So in the past, I've always used pink castle tees. Now, pink castle tees have got like a little ridge on them and allow the tee to sit on top of the turf. That's the whole idea of it. And at the range where I coach and custom fit, I have got turf which basically allows that thing to sit there exactly how it's designed. In my hitting strip that I've got, the turf that I've got, this is basically putting green everywhere, and I have got an inset putting strip. Now I can quite easily replace when it gets worn, in out really, really quickly. But it does mean, because it's just how the pile sits, it has a tendency to push through the pile. So it wants to go lower and lower. And so I am distinctly seeing a difference. And when I started hitting drivers to start with, you start like getting to a new studio, you do this, and my drives weren't going as long as normal. And I'm thinking, well, why is that? Well, I wasn't really looking at quad or looking at head data or anything else like that. I was just hitting shots and going, that's a bit weird, they're a bit down, until I noticed how well I was hitting on the face. So we're going to do a test where I'm going to hit my standard, what I'm now calling my low tee, which is the pink castle, and then we're going to do what I'm going to call the high tee, which is now an orange. Now, orange for me normally would be massive, to a point of where I'd use a orange castle tee for like long drive, when you're trying to hit up there, whack it up. Yeah, that's the whole idea. But yeah, we'll do a test now. I'll hit a load of shots with the pink one, then we'll swap over for the orange one, hit a load of shots again, and then we'll go back to the editing desk where we can have a look at all the numbers and see the differences, just what difference tee height makes. Right, that's all the hitting done. Whew. I need to go to the gym. Right, let's go swap over from pink to orange, and let's go see the difference between the two. Right, that's a load more hit with the high tee orange. Let's go to the editing desk now. Let's go look at the numbers and see the difference just between what one tee height really makes. So to the fun experiment numbers time, where I have just found out the reason why I have lost so much distance since being in the studio, in my new studio. So it wasn't until this that I've realised, well, from my point of view, I really realised just how important tee height for me was, or to at least keep a consistent eye on it. Obviously on the golf course, I have a certain pattern of how I do certain things when it comes to the understanding of when you put the tee in the ground. You have different heights of grass and stuff, some obviously very tight mown tee boxes, some are a bit more fluffy. So again, it all depends on, I have my own system for that, but this just goes to show just how important this is. It is quite astounding how important it is. Anyway, so averages of the low tee, normal tee but low tee, 154.7, launching at 11.8, spinning at 3,000. For me, 3,000 is a lot. When I'm going full on long drive mode, I'm trying to spin it under 2. Normally I'm just in the 2s hours, say 2.2, something like that. It's going 35 yards in the air and descending at 40.7. Remember, 40.7 degrees, that's quite steep when it comes to driver, which means there's not going to be a lot of bounce and roll. Not that we're going to get a lot of bounce and roll now anyway. UK's coming into winter time, softens up. Yeah, not much fun. But a grand old carry of 256, 278 total, which is okay, but it's a bit rubbish. So let's go to the head data quickly so you can see how I created that. The whole idea of this is I'm not trying to go all out speed, so you guys, most of the people down the lens, cannot appreciate this whatsoever, so I have tried to keep speed under control so you can kind of at least get where I'm coming from. 106.8, so that's my club head speed. 1.45 is efficiency, so that's good. 4.8 up, yeah, I'm normally 4, 5, 6 degrees up dependent. 0.5 from the inside, 0.4 open, little baby fade, 4 degrees toe up, 18.5 degrees of loft, and 9mm toe, 13mm low. That is the important thing. 13mm low. I am normally middle to slightly high, but middle is normally, but I am slightly toey. I've always been slightly toey, but I always kind of go middle, as in vertically, and then slightly toey when it comes to strike, but slightly, not too much. Let's go have a look at what I'm calling now high tee, which is the orange rather than the pink, which is probably now going to be my normal tee. If you have a look at the high tee, ball speed is 156.9 against 154.7, so we've gained 2.2 miles an hour when it comes to ball speed. 14.4 of launch angle against 11.8. There you go. 2-3 spin, so now back again to my normal-ish level. At 40 yards in the air and 41.2 degrees descent angle, I would still try and get that one down a little bit. It could be just as something, well, we have a look at the strike data and we'll see. So it's still a slightly higher spin rate, but it equates to 276 and 301 against 256 and 278. So I've gained, what's that, 20 yards when it comes to carry and a good 23 or something like that when it comes to total distance. That is a big gain. Let's see where it come from. The club head data for the high tee is 107.5, so I have gone fractionally faster against 106.8, but it's 0.7 of a mile an hour. Yeah, 0.7. 1.46 when it comes to efficiency, so slightly higher when it comes to efficiency, 1.45, 1.46. 5 degrees up, 0 path, 0.3 closed, 3.6 up on lie, 18.6 of loft against 18.5. Again, there's no difference when it comes to loft. It's the same driver. I've just struck it differently. And if you look at the strike, it is 8mm toe, 1mm low, 12mm of difference. Now, if I can, I'll measure the difference between a orange and a pink, but more to the point, with that orange being higher off the ground, I feel a lot more comfortable being able to get my vertical low point better and not risking hitting the ground, hitting like a dunchy drop kick. So my strike is coming much closer to middle. 8mm toe, 1mm low is still fractionally low on the face. I still like it to be like 2 or 3mm higher. That will reduce the spin a little bit and also increase the launch slightly. But the interesting thing, obviously, I am launching the golf ball quite a few degrees difference. If you look at that, it's 14.4 against 11.8, and if I'm delivering the right same loft, etc., well, why is it going up? If I go over to the ball and club compare screen, boom, there we go, get up on the screen. Let's just focus on the driver impact area. Now, the driver impact area, you've got the difference there between the red and the yellow. Now, if I've still got the same dynamic loft, 18.6, 18.5, within 0.1 of a degree of difference, why is the ball launching that much different? Well, because remember, quad reads that face, a driver face, like it does everything else, like it's a flat 3D plane moving through a 3D space, like an iron is a flat plane, as in a flat face. A driver is not a flat face, it has got roll and bulge, and because it's got roll and bulge, it's got different amounts of loft at different points of the face. So when it's trying to measure the loft, it's the loft at delivery, not loft at impact point. That is something which people who use GC Quad need to understand. So the loft that you get there is exactly the same. The difference though between when it comes to the vertical launch angle that you get from a golf ball from strike point loft is quite distinct. You've got 13 mil and 1 mil, so 12 mil difference of vertical strike point difference, but it's making a considerable difference to my launch angle and spin rate to gain that extra distance from such a ridiculously small increase in clubhead speed, 0.7 of a mile an hour. That is it. To get 20 plus yards back from strike point alone is interesting. Guys, make sure when you're having lessons, really pay really close attention to your strike point, because you could be losing a boatload of distance out there from such a tiny thing. Now yes, okay, I'm lucky, I know I've got all the technology here that I need to find out why I come into my new studio and I've lost 20 odd yards. I'm thinking, what was going on there? See my strike point, or why is that doing? I don't normally do that. My attack angle, my delivery is basically exactly the same, but why am I so low? And then you look at things like, well, okay, the castle tee is now not sitting on top of the mat, it's sinking into the undersurface, which then superficially makes the whole balls lower. So that means then I can't obviously get the golf club down to my low point without hitting the ground, rising up by 5 degrees and hitting it where I want. Come in the orange tee, in come that, which obviously sticks it higher. Normally it's my long drive tee, but such a huge difference. Yeah. So there we go. That's a little idea from my point of view as to why I can get my 20 yards back. It is something that I see obviously a lot when it comes to amateurs. Generally speaking, amateurs haven't got that much control over angle of attack and stuff, but it is a consistent problem as well as many other things. So make sure you're on the lookout for it. So hope you liked it. If you did, the old thumbs up down the bottom there, that'd be great if you can. Next to it is a little subscribe button. It's a red button, it's free. Go on, click it. Thanks very much. The channel likes it and so does YouTube. But next to that one is a little bell icon. If you click that one, ding-a-ling, yep, that will let you know next time I upload another video. So I hope you're well, and we'll see you again soon.